Chuck Bowman, otherwise known as WoodChuck, is a Star Wars fan and woodworker who makes a variety of Star Wars-related woodcrafts. Some of his most popular items are his Tauntaun and Bantha rocking horses, but he also makes a variety of wooden weapon props. But I first heard about him because of his wooden logo plaques, like these. He made one for Roxy the Rancor that I found quite impressive, so I contacted him about the possibility of making one for me. I originally thought of having him make one based on Jabba from Return of the Jedi, but then it occurred to me that it might make more sense to base it on the vintage Jabba the Hutt figure, which I use as a sort of mascot for my website and YouTube channel. So I made this mock-up in Photoshop and sent it to Chuck to work from. I asked Chuck to send me a number of in-progress photos so that I could show you all how it was made. I also sent Chuck a vintage Jabba figure for reference, and also to supervise the creative process. Here, Jabba is looking over the mock-up that has been printed actual size. Chuck told me about an exotic type of wood called yellow heart that is naturally yellow, and we decided that this would be a good match for the color of the vintage Jabba figure. He started by gluing the boards together with a little extra weight provided by Jabba here. Once he had them in the desired shape, he pasted the mock-up onto the board and traced the shapes that he would be cutting out. Here you can see several of the small pieces that make up the eye. These logos are made using a technique called intarsia, which involves cutting out many pieces of wood, sanding them, and then assembling them more or less like a jigsaw puzzle. Here he has cut and sanded more pieces of the face. And here the full face is finished, but without many of the details such as wrinkles and warts on the lower half. And finally here is the finished face, ready to go on the plaque. The level of detail Chuck managed to achieve here is really quite impressive. The plaque itself and the lettering are made of red oak. Here's Jabba performing a last-minute spell check. And finally, here is the completed logo. It's 2 feet in diameter and weighs around 16 pounds. At first glance, you might not be able to tell that Jabba himself is made of wood, but look a little closer and you'll see the wood grain. It's actually quite beautiful. Well, as beautiful as Jabba the Hutt can be, anyway. I think Chuck did an excellent job of capturing the essence of the character. If you'd like to see more of Chuck's creations or contact him about a possible commission, you can click the link in the upper right, or the one in the video description, and visit his Facebook page. I wouldn't say that these are cheap, but for the amount of work that goes into them, they're quite reasonable. This is definitely one of the centerpieces of my collection. I've had a number of people ask if I would do a full tour of my collection, and while I'm not quite ready to do that, I will give you this photo of the logo in its place on one wall of my office. If you like this video, you might like some of the other ones I've made. Oh, like these. What a coincidence. While I do focus on Jabba the Hutt, I also cover a variety of Star Wars topics, including Star Wars-related 3D printing. And look at that big subscribe button at the bottom. I know you want to push it. Go on, no one's looking.